All right, welcome to the Go Find Nervous Show, the show where we talk about the challenges that made us nervous in life, how we progressed through them, and came to massive success. I'm the host, Jake Bolig, and I want to get right into it and ask the first question of our guest, Jessica, today. Jessica, what makes you more nervous? Moving from Oklahoma to New York or growing your new Show Me Them Cities podcast?
Honestly, I think it's the move to New York City from Oklahoma, because it's definitely going to be a big culture change. And it's not even the move. It's like the preparing for the move is the stuff that makes me nervous. I know once I get there, I'll be fine. But the Show Me Them Cities is pretty low risk when you think about it, because the worst thing that happens is it's a wild success. So, truly, it's I feel pretty calm about it, which is very abnormal for me. So.
Okay, interesting. Let me formally introduce for the people listening who I'm talking to today. And then I have so many questions about both New York and this funny, hilarious concept of a podcast coming up. So this person I'm talking to today, I think of as this intelligent, sweet, kind, loyal, fierce, determined, ethical, and just a joy to be around her. A few of the words that I would use to describe her. She's making big moves, literally and metaphorically. One includes the Big Apple that we just talked about, and another includes this really cool podcast concept, which is called Show Me Them Cities, which we're going to talk about, which I can't wait to talk about. An engineer by trade, right? Yep. That I think can be one of the most successful podcasters out there if she decides to go that route. So we're going to talk about that today with our guest, Jessica Steffan. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Ah, what a welcome. Thank you. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Well, tell me, let's talk about this podcast now.
Yeah.
Show Me Them Cities. Obviously, there's a play on words there somewhere. I'm thinking in my male brain.
Yeah, that was intentional.
What? I guess let's go back just a little bit. How long have you been wanting to do a podcast? How long have you been talking about a podcast?
Forever. You know that, like, for a long, long time, I've been saying I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast. I take in a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of them, and I really enjoy them. And my dad always told me I had a face for radio. So I'm like, I think
I got a face for radio. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can talk. I can entertain myself for hours by talking to myself if I need to. So I figured it'd be a good thing. And I don't know. I just always have wanted to do one for as long as I pretty much knew you could just pick it up and start doing it. I just didn't have a concept that I thought was good enough. And I also didn't have the confidence to do it at that point either. So here we are, we're doing it.
Well, I've always thought of you as a person that could do it as well, because like you said, your ability to network and talk with people. And I've been fortunate enough to know you previous to this interview, but this concept, it wasn't the first concept you came up with, right? Like you initially, like, what are some of the concepts that you came up with? And then I want to talk about what this concept is for the people listening.
Yeah. So I've had a ton. I thought about doing like a true crime type of one. And I kind of decided I didn't want to do that. Who knows, maybe one day. And then I had one that I was going to start called Third Party Therapy. That's the closest I've gotten before this one. Because I started therapy in the past like 2 years. I started in 2020 and because of some stuff in my life. And it was insanely beneficial to me. And I started realizing that when you talk to other people who go to therapy as well, you can learn some things from each other. So that was another one I had. I actually have the Instagram for that one. So we'll see, maybe one day. And then I thought about some other ones like diet and lifestyle related. I've run the gamut. And then what I realized is I would come up with an idea that I thought would be great. And then I'd go and search and it was there. So it existed already or something very close to it. So it was just, it was hard to come down to like, what is it actually going to be? And then I had all these like wild, like big ideas of like massive things, but you need to find sort of a niche, I feel like. So here we are.
Here you are. And like we just talked about a second ago, for the people listening, you're about to make a big move to New York City from Oklahoma. And now you have this Show Me Them Cities podcast that kind of serendipitously came about at the same time. What is the concept exactly of Show Me Them Cities?
So the way I'm planning on doing it, and it might change with time, who knows? I'm kind of just being flexible. But on dating apps, you can throw your location to a different city. So I'm throwing my location. I'm going to say like, hey, I'm going to be in this city in 3 days. I would love for you to show me around. I'd love to see it. Cause people are like, where do you want to live? Where do you want to live? I got that question so many times, when I, like in the last year and a half when my life imploded, and people would be like, where do you want to live? And to me, I feel like I could be happy anywhere. And there's so many places I haven't been. So it's kind of like, this would be a good way to actually visualize a city, actually move to a city or be in a city and go around with someone who's local. And also the dating apps, man, it's the Wild West. And just dates in general can be very, very interesting. So I kind of figured, hey, this could be a good little concept to see if we can make it work. So that's the plan. The premise is going to be going to a city and then talking about it, pretty much the dates.
Okay. So, well, you're exactly right. I perused a dating app. I clocked about 10 days total of my life on a dating app. And it was fantastic. It gave me the most enjoyment of what is going on in this world. Like, I came up with so many jokes by just.
Oh man, it's wild. I have a whole album of pictures of like screenshots of conversations and things. And then even meeting in person, I have so many just from the time I've been on them. And I took a long break, but yeah, it's going to be, be interesting.
Is there any story that sticks out in your mind? From the past, just because this is kind of what people can probably expect in the podcast, right?
Boy, how far do I want to go down this route? Okay,
I mean, let's go. We got a little time.
So sorry to any of my family that's listening to this. But I went on a date with this one guy, and we had a couple drinks. We kind of hit it off. I wasn't so sure about him, but I was kind of like, I was a little buzzed, and he was like, yeah, let's go back to my place and we could just hang out. And I was like, all right, fine, we'll go. But I was very much like, we're not progressing. We're not running the whole Monty, So,
okay, you're not going to find nervous with the guy that night.
Yeah, no. I was like, I'm going to go. We'll hang out, have a Truly. I think he was like, I got Trulies. And I was like, all right, whatever. And we were kissing, and then he literally took his penis out, and he was like, yeah, look at it. It's so big. Look how wide it is. And I was like, what? And then he's like, do you want to touch it? This is the bad. This is like,
whoa.
So I literally did. This is like the most embarrassing thing, probably. I know, right? Sorry. Talk about how explicit you wanted to get. But I literally took a finger and I went, boop. And I booped his penis.
Oh my God. What? I don't know.
I looked at him. I was like, I can't believe I just did that. I cannot believe that I just did that. That just happened. I just booped you. And he was like, yeah, what was that? And, he did actually, we did hang out again. So it didn't completely ruin it. But
so it worked.
Hey, maybe it's a method,
Oh my God. So this is what people can expect.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find a way to not be so. Or I'm gonna have to find a way to not be so explicit, but also learn about a city. We'll see.
You said it eloquently. So what obstacles do you see? This is good. What obstacles do you see in the context of this show and moving? What kind of obstacles do you see with getting this show growing and off the ground?
I think the hardest part is going to be managing the time of especially with the move to New York. Like if I'm moving to a new city, it's going to be difficult, I think, to also set up dates where I'm moving or going to another city as well. So, and then also having enough content to talk about it for however many episodes every other week or whatever it ends up being. I like episodes that release at least once a week. So I have some ideas about how I'm going to be able to do that and create enough content on these trips. But I think the hardest part is going to be finding the time. But I have a plan for New York City. I'm going to date through the boroughs is my game plan and see what it's like.
It's like a bunch of
the what?
Yeah, it's a bunch of mini cities right there. So
exactly. Yeah. So I think New York and the move could actually be a really good synergy for things that I'm thinking about, because it's also really easy to get to a lot of cities via train in that part of the world. So.
And when is this move coming up?
I'm moving in January.
Okay.
So I'm going up there actually for the first time in the end of December. So I'm thinking I might try to set up at least one I like the idea of doing group dates too with other friends that live in the city, like meet up with them and have them see if we can get a double date going, and then we can talk about it together. So
Yeah.
Might try to do that in New York. We'll see.
Yeah.
You'll have to subscribe.
What do your friends think about this? Because, going out on dates with lots of people, mostly random people, because nowadays people can almost be anybody they want to be online. Right. And so do you see that being a problem, or just adding to the great content of the story? And what do your friends think about that?
I have not told a single friend that said it was a bad idea. The reaction has been really, really, really positive, and I'm really excited about it. And that's been like a good positive energy. I've gotten a lot of ideas about what people think I should do. And I've kind of had to shut that out a little bit and just focus on what I want to do and what I think is going to work. But yeah, the safety part of it is concerning. And I've gotten some recommendations on what I should do as far as that. But you date in any city and it's the same. You're still meeting up with strangers, and you have to be careful even if I'm at home. So positive overall, everyone's been pretty positive. So 100% positive. It's been great. Even my sister was like, this is a good idea. So.
Well, you probably led the idea with the penis story every time. You're like,
no, I have not. My friends are used to hearing all of my dating stories. So I think they're excited to get them out and about, and for everybody else to hear them as well. So it's not just them.
Now, have you always been so outgoing? Because I know a lot of people, they have to, like, as far as the dating apps go and like that, your podcast, some people are super introverted. Some people are super extroverted. Have you always been outgoing and like a people person, or is it something that you've had to work on?
No, when I was a child, I was the same way, very, very outgoing. I don't have a hard time making friends. I went through a phase in my life where I was not myself. And I feel like now, after ending that relationship, I was in a really unhealthy relationship. After ending it and getting back into therapy, it's been a really big, I feel like I've bloomed back into myself. So took a little time away with someone I didn't recognize, but now I'm back, and I think better than I was before. So this is just who I've always been. I feel like I'm more comfortable with myself and who I am now than I was before. And
that's allowed you to be yourself and express yourself how you want, and not worry if not everybody's for everybody. So not everybody's gonna be your friend.
Every pot has a lid. So,
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Even really, really messed up pots have lids. So you could find one that fits.
What would you say to people that maybe this is just a question off the top of my head here. It just made me think of this. Is like, you said you didn't feel like yourself, and you had to find yourself. I think that's a very big problem in today's world. We're getting bombarded with content, with all these different conditioning aspects and propaganda from whatever it is, all over from the time we're young. And that's a very big problem. What are some like simple things that you had to do, or was it a long process to be like, wait a second, this is who I am?
Yeah, it's been a long process, I will say. The biggest thing that's been, other than therapy, that was massive, and healing a lot of like my old stuff, and then consistently going even when I feel like I'm fine. That's been massive. But recently I just kind of decided that I was going to believe people when they said things to me. Like, if someone gives you a compliment, I'm just trying to be better about like taking it, because what reason would they have to bullshit you, So if someone thinks that you're going to do great and they tell you they think that you're going to do great, instead of immediately saying, oh, they're lying, or what do they want from me, or what is this? I just start like, all right, well, what reason would they have to not tell me the truth? So that's the biggest recent thing that I've been doing, is just taking a beat, realizing that the voice in my head that immediately retracts against it is a liar. It's what's been taught to myself by myself, and then to listen to the people that say good things and just believe there's no reason for them to lie. I'm not giving compliments to people that I don't believe, so why would they be doing it to me?
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, is to believe it. And you can really make anything whatever you want it to be. Like, if somebody says, yo, hey, stupid, and I turn around and look, that's my fault. Right? Like, I'm like, I'm the dummy that looked. Like, I'm the one that answered to it.
Yeah.
So
I do really think that's a big, like, you don't have to take everything that people say as fact, but at the same time, like, why would someone lie when they say that they think you're great? It's just kind of.
And,
I don't know.
And what's it worth to overthink it? If not, just move on, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Well, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. So how we're about to wrap up here. How can people follow this podcast that I'm so excited about? I can't wait. I mean, this story that you told a minute ago, I mean, if it's like that, I'm like, what is going to happen on this podcast? What is Jessica going to get herself into? So where can people follow this? I know it's just now starting. But I have big hopes. I think it's going to be a great thing. And so where can people follow not only the podcast, but your journey? Because it sounds like you're going to be doing lots of cool stuff.
Yeah. So you can follow ShowMeThemCities on Instagram. And it's on like everywhere you can find podcasts, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The first episode is very, very short, but it's out there. So I would love it if people would follow along and subscribe and follow on my social media. My normal Instagram is private. If that changes, you will know. But
the Instagram is ShowMeThemCities, right?
Yep. And spelled at ShowMeThemCities.
Okay. So just spelled exactly how it sounds.
Spelled exactly. I was going to do Show Me Your Cities with CITTIES, but I went back to Show Me Them Cities. I didn't want people didn't know how to spell.
I mean, we all know how that name came about now that you told that great story. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show, Jessica. I really appreciate it. You embody what it means to go find nervous, what it means to attack a new challenge. And I hope people follow you. And I think people should follow your journey. And I hope people take the inspiration from it that I get from it. So
thank you. Yeah, no, I'm excited for this too, for you. So this is good.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Everybody remember, the next time you're in a situation that you need progress, go find nervous. Thanks. Hey, one last thing. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I always enjoy interviewing all these cool people. I hope to have you as a guest one day too. What I put together is a class called masteringnervous.com. If you want to check it out, cool. If not, cool too. But what it is something that can speed up the time. It took me 20 years to figure it out, and this is an hour and a half. So if you want to check it out, masteringnervous.com is the place that you can go. Other than that, make sure to follow us on social media at Go Find Nervous, and then hit me up too at Jake Bolick. Thanks for watching the show. I appreciate you. I sincerely do. Go Find Nervous.